Welcome to Retrobot, the YouTube channel where we feed a friendly space robot a diet of pure nostalgia. Except tonight, we're not so much feeding the robot as getting ready to feed the robot tomorrow night. See, I'm in the process of getting ready for the Beast Wars Megatron live stream that we're going to do tomorrow night. And I'm really excited about this one because Beast Wars Megatron is one of the greatest Transformers characters in the history of the line, and that's a really bold statement because they have had a lot of characters that have been really, really awesome, and quite a few of them have had the name Megatron. But here's the thing, I'm getting ready, and one of my versions of Transmetals Megatron is broken. And he is suffering from plastic fatigue. And so I was in the process of trying to fix him, and I was about, maybe halfway through when I realized I should maybe be live streaming this and, just showing people what I'm doing. So this is really informal. We don't have any adult beverages. So I encourage you to drink the adult beverages on my behalf. And if you want to ask me questions in the chat, then I'd be happy to answer questions, and I just posted a message that says I'm fixing stuff, wanna watch? Anyone. So yeah, and I'll talk to you about some of the things that I'm doing and some of my techniques for fixing plastic, and also what some of the problems are here. And let's see, I could probably use that being down like one click, and we could also show we already showed the repair on Beetroot, didn't we? But maybe I could always show that again too, so that you can see that with a lot of these toys that are made almost entirely out of plastic, sometimes it can be very challenging to figure out how to fix them. Some plastics don't glue well. Some plastics don't paint well. Some materials are more of a vinyl or a rubber, and they're going to perform completely differently than like an ABS or a styrene or an acrylic. And I guess this is where some of my background as an industrial designer helps, since I've done model making and I've worked with product development, so I know a little bit about some of these things. And you know what, if Sean Shago joins us tonight, he also knows all this stuff because we used to work together. So if I don't know the answer and he's on the live stream, force him to tell you the answer because he knows this stuff. So anyway, let's just start out by identifying the problem here. I was transforming Transmetals Megatron here, and the hinge at the top broke. And that's not uncommon with an old toy, but it's always a little bit disconcerting when it happens. And then while I was trying to glue it, the tiny piece of plastic that I had actually just broke into two. And at that point, since it's not even breaking at a stress point, it's just kind of crumbling in my hands, that tells me that the plastic itself is starting to become brittle. And that's a terrible, terrible thing for an all-plastic toy, because that means that, and especially with a Transformers toy, a toy that's intended to have a lot of moving, interlocking parts that have to have a certain amount of tension on them to be able to stay in place. So these joints have to be just a little bit pliable, and if that plastic becomes brittle, then your toy is just gonna kind of crumble in your hands. So here's some things that you can do to fix that, and I'm also going to show you some things that you can do to prevent it. And I do at least have a drink. And yeah, I know this is completely informal. I don't have my nice Hawaiian shirt or mock Hawaiian shirt, and yeah, we're just doing this thing. So I'll show you one of the repairs that I've already made. There was that first hinge, and you're going to be a little bit surprised when you see the repair and when I tell you what I've done. Let's go over to the side camera where you can see all of the Megatrons are just kind of waiting in the wings and trying to, you know, in preparation. So right here, I'm gonna try and get this in focus so that you can really see what's going on. That's actually pretty good. So you see right here, this is the hole that completely broke off. This piece of plastic here, and it split here and here, and then it broke off down here. And even after I glued it the first time, a little piece, a little chunk of it just came out right back here. And as you can see here, it actually looks not too bad. The surface is, you know, shows that I've done some gluing and stuff, but you're never going to believe how I rebuilt that. Are you ready for this? So what I did was, and I'm going to try and make it so that you can see in here. Okay, so you see right here, that little hole. Well, I drilled that little hole with this cordless screwdriver and this little, I think it's a 3/32 inch drill bit. And oh, Jonah Seaman is here. Hey, Jonah, it's good to see you. Yes, we got a Transmetals 1 Beast Wars Megatron, and we are trying to fix him because he's got some problems. So yeah, right now he's saying no, my arm should not fall off. Yes, arms are supposed to be attached, even if they have a beast head. So that's my bad Megatron impression. I'm sorry. So what I did was, you see that I drilled a hole right here, and then the back here didn't really have any plastic in the way, and so I took a needle and some brown thread, and I actually stitched around here, looping it several times over in two places. I looped it here, and I looped it here. Now before I did that, I actually filed grooves into the outside so that the thread would fall into those grooves and not really add to the bulk of this part. And then after it was looped over about 3 or 4 times on each side, then I used regular super glue and just saturated the thread, and then I pulled it tight and I let it dry, and then I filled in the gaps with some more super glue, and then I sanded it. And what that does is, since the plastic itself is kind of weak, the thread gives the glue something to bind to. And the nice thing is that the thread is made of cotton. Now, there are... So people that do a lot of model making probably have heard of super glue kicker. And it's this little aerosol spray that you can spray on super glue that... oh yeah, you know what? No, not the Cybertron character, the lame ass kid that hung around with even lamer ass Ironhide. This is they call it Zip Kicker, and it's a super glue bonder, and you can spray it on, and it makes the super glue harden more quickly. And that can be advantageous when you're waiting for parts to dry. Now, the downside is that my experience has been that if you kick super glue, then the bond tends to be less strong than if you let it dry at its normal rate. But sometimes you just want to get it to kick. Well, there are certain other substances that will also accelerate the curing process for super glue, and one of those things is cotton. When you saturate something made of cotton with super glue, it will dry faster than if it's between like two ceramic parts or something like that. Also baking soda. Baking soda will kick super glue, and that's tremendously advantageous if you need to fill in cracks or anything like that, because you can squirt a little bit of super glue down into the crack, put a little bit of baking soda in there to kind of fill in, and then a little bit more super glue, and it'll essentially turn into a sandable filler that bonds to the plastic, and is pretty tough. So these are some of the things that I do, and then after the glue is dry, then I'm able to sand it. And even if I'm sanding through one or two of those threads completely, it's not so much that the threads are wrapped around that's going to make this joint stronger, but rather the fact that there's now fibers flowing through there to bind that super glue together. And that's what I'm going for. So I'm pretty confident about that repair, but unfortunately, also the hinge here on the side, you can see this one where the arm panel is, there's supposed to be a hinge right there, and on this side it's broken. And so yeah, I'm gonna you can see that I've already drilled a couple of more holes right here, and so we're gonna sew that. Yeah, we're going to sew Beast Wars Transmetals Megatron, and right now it's just you and me, Jonah, and I appreciate that you tuned in, because I was gonna be sitting here just trying to fix anything that I find that's broken, and it always breaks my heart when my toys break, and I figured, I'm already in front of my desk, I should turn on the camera, because this is an exciting Thursday night. Okay, it's not really an exciting Thursday night. So how are you doing, Jonah? What would you be doing if you weren't watching a live stream right now? Oh, okay, well, that's my thread, and just gonna, there we go, and I've got the tiniest needle that I could find to fit through that little hole. Let's see. Watching me try to thread a needle. Wait a minute here. Okay, we're pulling out the homemade bifocals, and amazingly enough, they actually do help. Oh, Christopher Remley! Hey, good to see you. Thank you for joining me. We are about to sew Transmetals Beast Wars Megatron, and I think I'm going to cut the end of this with my X-Acto blade so that I have a little bit of a better edge here. If you want to bring them, thank you. Monica was just asking if I'm going to need a fresh X-Acto, and oh wait, you know what? I think I have one here, so that's okay. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna actually put this on the other camera because there's more light over there. So let's see if we can do this. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. There we go. And go in there. Don't fight me, thread. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. And there we go. Okay, so I've got my needle and thread. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that that you don't normally see model makers do, and that is use a needle and thread to fix a plastic joint. But that is what we're doing. The homemade bifocals, they do work, but they give me a headache. I don't think that I should have had the additional magnification lenses at 2 different magnifications, but you know, live and learn. And Dudley, no, you do not need to claw the wall. That's my wall. That's not your wall. That's my wall. Dudley does not like that I'm not giving him attention. So, okay, we got our needle and thread. Okay, now this is where things are going to get a little bit interesting. So what I need to do, I'm going to set this down, is, oh, I don't want to put my needle in my mouse. There we go. Okay, so you can see that the hinge is just about completely busted out here. And what I need to do is create a loop that that this hinge pin, let me just put that in there. So the hinge pin is going to go, oh, whoops, like that, I think. I think it's, oh wait, I think it goes in here like this. Like that. And so what I need to do is I need to get the thread to take on that shape, but I don't want to glue the pin in place. So yeah, I need to put the, okay, I got an idea. I got an idea. It's not necessarily a good idea, but it's the one I'm going with. Let's take just a little piece of masking tape. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut it straight. There we go. And now I'm going to cut off just a little piece there, and there we go. And that might actually be more than I need, because I don't want it to be too bulky. All right, now the trick is to put this hinge pin in there in a way that I can get it out after I glue. And so I've got my piece of masking tape, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the masking tape with the back of the tape to the pin. And let's, come on, you can do it, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And there we go. Okay, so, and then I'm just going to keep rolling it in the direction of the tape so that it kind of stays tight. So there we have my little piece of masking tape. And now this I can set into the joint. Here we go. Just like that. Okay, and I'm going to show this. Okay, so you see how I have that pin just set in where that joint needs to be. And now I'm going to use my needle and thread, and I'm going to sew around that piece of tape. Because if the tape stays in there, that's fine. That's just going to give the glue something else to bind to. So that is not a big problem for me. And I can cut off the excess with an X-Acto blade. So I'm going to try and make this so that you can see what I'm doing. Let's see if I can do this. So there is Beast Wars Megatron, and here is one of the holes that I drilled for the sole purpose of sewing around this. And let's pull that through. Okay, that's good enough. And now I'm going to loop it around. All right, now I'm sorry, I know you can't see what I'm doing. There's a certain amount of that's going to happen. Oh no. My hinge pin fell out. It's okay. That is okay. I've still got it. I can just set it right back in here. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, so here we go. And there was a part of me that was kind of hoping that since I had the outside of the tape rolled around in there, that the sticky would help it stay in place. Of course, I then put my greasy fingers all over it, so that really hasn't happened. But that's okay. We're getting somewhere. You can't tell that I'm getting somewhere, but I'm going to do a few stitches here, and then I'll show you where I'm at. So there we go. Okay, and oh yeah, so here I can probably show it at this point. So here we go, and you can see that we've got a couple passes of the needle and thread, and then I'm just going to stick it through there. Oh. Okay, I don't want the thread to bunch up like that. It's not high quality thread. This is dollar store thread. So here's what we do. I'm just going to put my finger in there so that the two ends can catch up with themselves. There we go. And there. Yeah, that's here. You go around there, and then I'll pull it tight. There, I'll pull it real tight. Okay, at this point, the thread's not going to pull through, and that's important. So now I'm going to go through this other hole that I made, and yeah, okay, we are moving now. All right, this is working. I feel good. There we go. can continue. There we go. And I'm just going to keep looping this around and build up a good bulk of thread around this joint, because that is all going to get saturated with super glue, and that's what we want. You know, I don't even have the plastic piece that broke off of there. To be honest, I didn't even notice that that part of the hinge was broken until about a moment before I decided that I needed to live stream this. So yeah, it was pretty much seeing that I thought, well, this is going to take some finessing. Why not turn on the camera? So yeah, that's what we're doing. Just doing as many passes as I can. Now the nice thing is that since the plastic that used to be there is just completely gone, then I don't have to worry about there being a buildup of thread here and adding to the size of the hinge, because that plastic piece that was on there was probably about 1/16 of an inch thick. I'm not going to be building up 1/16 of an inch of thread around this joint. Although, I'll tell you what, it wouldn't be terrible if I did, because, you know, the more, the better. All right, so, yeah, here, let's go ahead and show, this is where we're at. So you can see that is a pretty strong thing right there. Now, if I pull that hinge pin out right now, it's gonna collapse on me because it's only supported by paper, and that's where the super glue comes in. So let's there we go, and we're just gonna saturate this. There we go. I also don't have to tie it. That's another nice thing about this process. The super glue is going to hold the thread in place, so I don't have to tie anything. I just have to loop it around over and over. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to keep holding this tight for a moment. Now, the funny thing is, I've got two Transmetals Megatrons, and this one seems to be fine. It concerns me that this one just got all brittle like that. But I haven't had any breakage and no signs of breakage on this one so far. You know, knock on wood. But so okay, and you see, here's another thing. Skin also accelerates the reaction of cyanoacrylate superglue. So, and in fact, yeah, I think that superglue was originally invented as like a field bandage, which I have used it for that many times, more times than I could tell you, and it works because it bonds instantly to skin. And so you've got cotton, baking soda, and skin are all materials that will cause super glue to cure more quickly. Okay, so that is starting to harden. I think I can let go, and I'm going to set it aside. That's another thing that I have learned with doing model making stuff is I need to be patient about letting my glue bonds and my chemical bonds and my plastic weld. I need to be patient about letting it sit and not futzing with it, because I screw things up that way because I get impatient. So while that's sitting aside, I'm going to show you how I'm going to try to protect this Megatron, and I'm also going to do this to the other one after he's fixed. But I'm going to try and protect this Megatron from having the plastic get brittle. So now, this is something that I've been doing on my car for years. Every time I change the oil, I will take the used motor oil, and I'll take shop towels, and I will just dip the shop towels in a little bit of used motor oil, and then I'll wipe down the engine. And my thinking with that is, on the metal parts, having a thin layer of oil will help to prevent rust. And on the plastic parts, the plastic actually absorbs the oil, because plastic is made of petroleum. And so I've got a fresh bottle of motor oil here, and I don't know if vegetable oil or corn oil would work. I honestly don't. I don't know the chemistry well enough to be able to answer that. But since plastics are a petroleum product, then it stands to reason that to some degree they are soluble in oil. And I've actually had rubber parts that I left in, like I had a shaver, like a razor blade handle, and I had this idea about trying to keep the blade lasting longer by leaving the head in a little tiny tray of baby oil. And what it did was it actually caused all the rubber and plastic parts to dissolve because I was leaving it in there all the time. So I don't want to soak him in oil, but what I can do is I can just rub down all of these plastic parts with motor oil. And my thinking is that that the oil will get absorbed into the plastic and help to keep it from becoming brittle. And what I have found with my car is that my, even on my Saturn, which by the time I got rid of that car, it was like 19 years old. But if you looked at the engine looked brand new. You didn't have all of that dry rot, those dry rotted hoses. You didn't have dry rotted plastic bits. It didn't turn, hazy and white. It still had, it still looked brand new, and the parts were still very pliable. And I personally believe, even though it's kind of unsubstantiated, but I believe that it's because on a regular basis I was just giving them a rub down with that motor oil. So that's what we're going to do with Megatron here. And I really hope that I don't end up like spilling my motor oil, because that would be bad. That would be hard to clean up. There we go. And here we go. So yeah, we're just gonna rub it in, rub it in, rub it in. That's right, we're rubbing it in. I think that there was like a commercial that did that, No, it was plug it in, plug it in. It was for Glade plugins. And they'd say, plug it in, plug it in. So, yeah. That's where we're at tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We are, well, gentlemen. Try and get it in here, get it all around and inside the divots. I love that Transmetals Megatron has roller skates. That's great. More Transformers should have roller skates. So, there we go. And, you know, what I'm observing is that the oil dries. You know, you'd expect, because, you know, anytime if you've worked with oil, it doesn't dry. You know, it takes forever to dry. If you're familiar with oil paintings take forever to dry. You know, because they're not like acrylics. They you know, oil takes a long time to dry. But when I do this, and you know, you notice that I'm not using much. I'm you know, kind of rubbing it in, and you know, just dampening my paper towel and rubbing it in. So I'm not dumping gobs on here, but I am leaving a shiny coat of oil on this thing, and you'll notice that as you work with it, the oiliness does subside, and I don't think it's because it's drying. I think it's because it's absorbing into the plastic, and if it's absorbing into the plastic, then that supports my theory that that it helps to keep the plastic fresher longer. And also, it looks great. I mean, look at that. You know, that thing just looks brand new. This is like a 25-year-old toy or something, but it really does look great. Now, I've noticed that these kind of coppery colored plastic parts, they seem to be holding up better than the dark brown. Maybe it was a bad batch. Don't know. But I'm just rubbing it in and out. Here's the other thing that I'm noticing. The oil doesn't seem to be affecting the paint at all, which is great. If I was using harsh solvents or something then to do this, then not only would that probably be bad for the plastic, but it would probably be taking off the paint, which we do not want to do. So here we can, now I'm not sure if the oil can penetrate these vacuum metallized parts, but I'm going to rub them in anyway. And get his head. And I want to get up into the shoulders here. And get inside here. And especially get that hinge that broke on the other toy. So, here we go. Arms. You know, there's just so many little nooks and crannies with the Transformers toy. Now I'm getting inside the body cavity here. That's where he really needs it, because, you know, that's where all of these little thin floppy bits are. Oh! Savage Shark! Hey, good to see you! And so, just to catch you up, Savage Shark, I'm not well, yes, I'm polishing my Megatron, and you know, that sounds like slang for something, but no, what I'm doing here is I'm using motor oil to and I'm rubbing it into my Beast Wars Megatron to condition the plastic, because I've got two of these and my one has broken, and it seems like the plastic is very brittle. So hopefully rubbing oil into the plastic will help to counteract that brittleness that happens with age. So yes, yeah, yes, we are still doing phrasing. So Yeah, I'm rubbing my Megatron with some motor oil. And we're also fixing him using a needle and thread. See what you miss? This is good times on a Thursday night. All right, so I think at this point I've pretty much gotten all the bits inside and out. So I'm gonna set this Megatron aside, and let's see, we'll just set him over there, and let's check on our patient. So oh, Kyoji! Hey, Kyoji! Good to see you! So yeah, so this stream is kind of a low-key stream where I'm fixing my toys. So, any recommendations for small tire replacements like the GoBots? Okay, you know what? That's an excellent question. And I don't have good recommendations. I have some bad recommendations. I know that you can buy slot car servicing kits for little slot cars, and they usually come with 4 little rubber tires. But those kits are like 10 and 20 bucks a piece, and when I can already get a GoBot for 5 or 10 bucks, it's hard for me to want to spend 10 or 20 just to get tires for slot cars. I have also tried using vinyl tubing to replace, and the problem with that, of course, is that it doesn't have an interior groove, because the hubs on GoBots have that rim around them. And that's actually what I did with my turbo. In fact, my turbo is kind of cool. It's got blue vinyl wheels, because that's what I found that fit, and it kind of matches his chest. And hey, honey. Oh, just asking. Yep, here she comes. She knew. I just thought I'd show because Kyoji was asking about Turbo and what I did for his wheels. And oh, Savage Shark! Hey, Savage Shark! Oh, you've been here. But oh, it was Savage Shark who asked about. Okay, sorry, your name is right below Kyoji's. So I've got a very small window here and old eyes. So yeah, here you'll see what I did with my Turbo. So there we go. So those wheels are just made of vinyl tubing that's been sliced thin. They're still a little bit wider than they need to be, but I kind of like the fat wheels look. And yeah, I know it's not like old school accurate, but I actually like the look of the translucent blue. I think it's kind of cool looking. So yeah. So the short answer is I have not found a really good solution. I've just found varying degrees of passable solutions. So, and that's what I thought. Savage Shark, for anybody watching this live stream that doesn't have the chat turned on, Savage Shark was just saying that he thinks it makes him look more interesting with the blue wheels, and I agree. So here we go. I'm going to show you where we're at with Megatron. So here is that joint, and you can see that the glue is now nice and dry, and so I can cut off the thread that I put on there, and let's just cut that right there. There we go. And then we've got the other stray end of that thread. Now my fingers are a little bit oily. It makes it hard to hold on to the thread. All right, so there we go. That is not so bad. And now let's see if I can just pull out that hinge pin. That would be ideal. Look at that. Yes, Dudley. There we go. So the hinge pin comes out. And now I'm just going to slice through the edges. There we go. Now that that tape has been soaked with super glue, well, you know what? It still wants to kind of crumple there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to insert this back in there. Because I don't want that tape to crumble. And there. So there we go, just like that. And Savage Shark is just saying, I don't know how affected it'd be on toy plastic as compared to tabletop plastic kit. And Dudley definitely wants to stream too. Yes, Chris. So, you know what? I'm really not sure. Yeah, I'm assuming that we're still talking about the idea of rubbing oil into the plastic to help it stay fresh. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, okay. So Savage Shark was saying, as a thought, you might want to look into this. If you break a plastic piece, maybe look into the glue from Citadel Game Workshop. It causes the plastic to melt. Oh, so you're talking about plastic weld. And I actually have some ABS weld. And I have used ABS weld. My experience with ABS weld is a mixed one. If you get a really good bond, then it is like a weld. But a lot of times, like in a joint like this, I'm about 90% certain that if I just used plastic weld on the piece of plastic, then it would probably break when I tried to transform the toy, because even though it's welding, it's still a very, very thin weld. Now, I have gotten some plastic welds, especially with working with styrene. Styrene welds really, really readily. It is easy to break down. ABS is a little bit tougher, and acrylic is tougher than that. But in all those cases, I had large surfaces to bond to, and my history with trying to use ABS weld on Transformers toys, especially when they always break right at the joints. You know, that's the thing. You just about never have a Transformers toy that breaks like across a wide area where you're going to have a good gluing surface. It's always at some place that's under tension. So yeah, I'm aware of ABS weld, and I'd say that it's good for some things. And maybe it would work. I'm going to backpedal a little bit. It may work just fine, but I would be a little bit skeptical. So instead, and this is a place where I don't even have the plastic piece, so I'm kind of having to reconstruct, and I'm reconstructing it with thread. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm putting a second layer of glue on all of that thread, and I'm letting the glue fill in the gaps, and I'm also letting the glue get into the tape and kind of bond around the tape. And now the next thing that I think I'm going to do, give me just a second. I'm going to go get some baking soda. So it freshens up the refrigerator, and it's great for filling in. And this is what I was talking about before, about filling in gaps using super glue and baking soda. Don't breathe this, by the way. Both the fumes off of drying cyanoacrylate, they're bad, and also baking soda. If you get it up into your sinuses, it will cause your nose to run, and it will go down your throat, which will cause you to cough, and it'll just stay in there as an irritant for several days, and you will end up feeling like you've got the flu. I didn't know about that when I first started using baking soda in my kit bashes. And, you know, I'd stay up all night working on a toy, and then by like 1 o'clock in the morning, I'd start getting a runny nose, and I'd start sneezing and coughing and everything, and then I would get chest pains and everything, because I was literally coughing and sneezing so much that my muscles were just getting sore. But I didn't know that that's what was causing it. And so I kept going to the doctor, and they didn't know what was causing it either. And so they kept putting me on antibiotics. And then, in a couple days it goes away. But then the next time I would kit bash, it would come back. And after this kept happening for over the course of a year. And then at one point I realized this only happens when I'm kit bashing. I wonder if it's the baking soda. And I swear, within a week of that, I saw an episode of Dirty Jobs where at the end, they would always show the outtakes. Mike Rowe is standing there talking to a guy at a sodium bicarbonate facility or something. And he says, "Oh my gosh, my nose is running. What's going on?" And the guy next to him says, "That's the baking soda." And it's like, okay, Mike Rowe found out. My doctor didn't know. I didn't know. So, yeah, baking soda. So here we go. We now have baking soda all over that. Oh, and Sean Shago is here. And no, Sean, I am not using MEK. And you should have been here just a moment ago, because we were talking about ABS Weld. So Sean, you can go ahead and give your opinions on whether you would use plastic weld on the hinge of a transformer's joint, because that is the debate, and I'm open to alternate opinions. I keep looking over there because it's also on the screen over there, and the text is bigger. And so now when I'm talking to Sean, I see him as being over there, even though he's also like right. Well, I guess it's for me it's here, but for the version of me that's in the window, it's right there. But for me, it's right there. So anyway, yeah. So at this point, so we've got here. I'll just show this. I've built up the hinge with cotton thread wrapped around a cylinder of masking tape, and then super glue and baking soda. So let's see if we can still get that hinge pin to come out. And so we're just gonna, there we go. I think it, yep, okay, so my hinge pin still comes out. That's a big plus. There we go. I got that. Set that right down there. And now at this point, I should be able to cut off that other piece of, you know, that other bit of tape. There we go. That's what we want. And there. Yeah. Okay, that's coming along. That is coming along. And so at this point, I'm going to get out my wife's nail file that she doesn't know that I stole. Oh, honey, I didn't see you there. Hey, would you grab my little paint set on the back shelf? So I'm just going to do a little bit of shaping here. Rough out the edges, or smooth out the rough edges, rather. Oh, so Savage Shark has another question. Let's see. Where can you find hinge pin? Wait. It looks like you typed hinge pins. I saved them off of, like, I have a whole bin of broken toys and Transformers parts. So when I need a hinge pin that I don't have, I either go to my bin and I take it off of an existing thing, or do we still have that roll of wire that I had up here? Another thing that I've used is you can get spools of wire at building stores like Lowe's and Home Depot. I think that this is 16 gauge wire, and you know there's usually a couple different thicknesses. This is good to have on hand just for any number of reasons, and so a lot of times if I need, I will make a hinge pin out of either some wire like this or coat hanger wire or something like that, and I'll just use the wire cutter part of a pair of like needle nose or wire cutters or something, and chew up one end, you know, not cutting all the way through, just enough to make burrs on the end, and that will act similarly to the burrs that are inside these hinge pins, or at the ends of these hinge pins. I can say it. Yeah, here, I'm gonna try and do this. I'm trying to operate a mouse while I've got, oh, that's not good. That's not where we're at. So yeah, so, you know, just chew up the end to kind of create that sort of burr that they have on the ends of these. And it usually works pretty well. So, I don't know what you're asking. Oh, I've also cut off finishing nails. Yeah, if you can't find the right size wire, I have also cut off finishing nails, and there's every different thickness of finishing nail that you can imagine that would make a good hinge pin. So nails, wire, coat hangers, and of course hinge pins from other toys. So yeah, I you know what, yeah, I did say hinge pinge. So okay. Sean makes a very good recommendation. He's talking about the UV cured resin, which you can get in little pens. I have never tried that with Transformers toys, and I need to get some of that because I'd like to try it out. That's an excellent recommendation. I have no idea how well it would work, but I really want to try it out. So, good thought, Sean. Yeah, I need to do that. You know, on next month's budget, I need to buy one of those. so here we go. Shaping Megatron's hinge. We're going on a binge. And I don't know where I'm going with this. I apologize. So, you know what, Savage Shark? Let's just stand by this. Hinge pinge. That's now an official term. Hinge pinge is the distress that one goes through when they have to fix a broken hinge on a toy or other device. That is hinge pinge. It's sort of like high anxiety, except it's hinge pinge. And when this guy started breaking on me, I experienced hinge pinge. So, Sean, since you're here... Oh, wait, here, you had a question. Did you go over the baking soda? Yes, I did. I have been talking about the baking soda super glue thing. And so, yeah, you know I wouldn't miss that. But, Sean, I've got a question for you. One thing that I was showing, and I don't honestly know if this is really effective or not. Let me get rid of the baking soda with an old toothbrush. Actually, it's Monica's toothbrush. No, it's not. I did not use her toothbrush for that. But one of the things that I was showing earlier, and I'm going to show it with this one too, is because the plastic is becoming brittle. I decided to take some regular motor oil and a paper towel and just rub motor oil all over the surface. And I already did this one. And my thought was that by just rubbing in some motor oil into the plastic, that it would help condition the plastic and help to prevent and maybe undo some of the brittleness that happens with this plastic that's like 30 years old. What are your thoughts on that as a technique? Am I wasting my time? Or since plastic, the thought is that plastic is, of course, made from petroleum. It's essentially made from oil, that the oil, it acts as a very mild solvent, gets into the plastic and helps to moisturize it. So, go. And you know what? I just realized that I just said go, except there's like a 20-second lag. So you're not even going to hear this question for like another 5 seconds. So Christopher Remley says, if you ever get a bot, it should be named Hinge Pinge. You know what? I think Retrobot would be very unhappy with me if I told him that his name was now Hinge Pinge. Retrobot, do you want to be Hinge Pinge? No, we don't have to. You don't have to come out here, Retrobot. We've got a lot of Megatrons out here. I don't know that we have room for Retrobots. Besides, you're busy watching The Good Place, right? Oh, so okay, Sean. Sean says, I don't know about synthetic motor oil. Boy, I can't talk tonight. I don't know about synthetic motor oil. Maybe some paraffin-based oils would work on older plastics. Scroll up a bit and you'll see some additional comments. Well, now if I have to scroll up, let's see. Most toys are made from polyolefins and polymers, styrene. Those toys, you see the ick mainly because of the plastic being hydrophilic, take in ambient moisture and photo oxidation. See, now Sean, you're gonna have to, like, after this is all over, you're gonna have to go back to the beginning when I told everybody that you would have the answers that I do not. because I actually called you out before you even signed on, and I knew that you would have smart things to add to this discussion. So thank you for not letting me down. So, all right, we've got a hinge here. I've got to see if it actually is going to fit. And where did I put my other parts? That's the question. So I need to stay organized, and it is getting progressively chaotic over here. So I've got my two little pins there, and okay, we've got this part here, and it needs to fit. Oh, here, take a look. Wait, here, side camera. So, okay, we've got the hinge like that, and this, I think that that's going to fit really well. I think we are going to have a winner here. Winner, chicken dinner. Yeah. I'm feeling good about this. I'm feeling real good. Okay, so, now what I need to do, I'm just going to adjust, do a little bit of shaving here. And now, let's see, we have that little, okay, so, oh yeah, and we got my little bottle of ABS Weld, that's important. And so I need to make that, you know, the downside with using the baking soda and super glue is that it turns an unnatural white-ish color, and that doesn't really that doesn't really match anything. So what we need here, let's see, I have a whole set of crappy tester's paints, that a lot of which I think I found at the you know what, my original set I got at a thrift store, and then later when half of those were dried up I just went to Walmart. And I know that tester's paints are kind of crappy, but they come in such cute little square bottles. I mean, who doesn't want to have dozens of these? They're awesome. So, okay, I've got my red. There we go. And my green. And my yellow. There we go. I guess I could use blue, but I feel like the red and green is going to get me pretty much there, and then the yellow just in case I need to tint it one way or the other. So let's, there we go. So we got our green. And our red. I know you can't see that I'm taking the caps off, so I'll just have to narrate it. And let's take this one, because I don't need my fine tip sable for this kind of painting. And then I've got my palette, nothing but the finest in artistic equipment here. And so I'm going to take a big dollop of red and a dollop of green, and I'm going to mix those together. It's still a little bit on the red side, so I'm going to add a little bit more green. And just a little bit more green. There we go. Okay, that's actually not too bad. Let's go to the side camera. So there we go. There is my brown. And I think that's actually a pretty close match. There we go. And my experience with these paints is that they always dry just a little bit darker than when they're wet. So I think that that's actually going to be pretty close. You know, it's not perfect, but that's actually not bad. I'm actually feeling pretty good about that. You know, I could do a little bit more to sculpt and make it pristine. You know what? I know I already put paint on it, but there's a little globule there that's bugging me, and so I'm gonna cut off the little globule. There we go. See, this is an example of me being impatient, and I thought it was ready to paint, but you know, it's really hard to tell where the high spots and low spots are when it's all different colors, and it's very small, and admittedly my eyes aren't as good as they used to be. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of scrapey with my X-Acto. There we go. And a little wipe. There we go. That is not so bad. There's still a little booger there. There's a booger there. I don't want the booger. I don't want the booger. I guess what I could do is I could fill it with just a little dab of super glue. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I'm gonna wipe. Boy, a lot of that paint is actually already dry. You know, when I want it to dry quickly, it doesn't. I mean, not that it's a problem that's drying. So I'm just going to do a little dab of super glue in the holes that I created. And oh, yeah, cheeky boy. Hey, thank you for coming over. Yeah, my Transmetals Megatron is broken, but we're putting him back. We are bringing him back. And so I'm going to use a little bit more baking soda. There we go. And now let's go ahead and get rid of the excess. There we go. Try not to breathe that. Probably fail miserably. Now you watch. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be acting like I have the flu, and it's going to be because I've been breathing baking soda all night. And then you can all be like, hey, Clay, hey, why did you breathe all that baking soda? And I'll say, I don't know, I'm not smart.
Brilliant scheming, Glomgold.
Thank you. Oh, every evening is made better with Glomgold. So here we go. a little. Yeah, it's better having those holes filled in. I didn't like that the holes were showing up. And then a little scrapey with the X-Acto. And a little bit more scrapey. I use my X-Acto blade as a sculpting tool a lot. Because it seems like for the real detail stuff, there's just nothing else that really gets in there. Well, thank you, Cheeky Boy. Cheeky Boy was just saying that I am a magician to fix things. This is... It comes from years of performing unnecessary surgery on my toys. So... Let's see. Oh, where's that? Where's Monica's nail file? Got it. So here we go. A little. There we go. Yeah, I'm getting close to the edge of the filing part. There we go. And a little bit more scrapey. Yeah. All right. And let's see if that's going to look better once I put the paint on it. So let's go ahead and clean that off there. There we go. There's still a little bit of some roughness on there, and I just don't know how long I want to spend sculpting around that. I mean, it is Beast Wars Megatron. Transmetals 1 Beast Wars Megatron, to be specific. But it's also my extra Transmetals 1 Beast Wars Megatron. So here we go. Oh, that's not so bad. There. Okay, so now let's go ahead. We're going to have to mix a little bit more brown because my brown has dried. So a little dab of red. And a little dab of green. Oh, and so let's see. You got to be careful with that stuff. Read the directions. Wait, what am I reading? The directions? When you never read directions. Maybe you read directions. You read directions when you had to, admittedly. There we go. Oh, there, yeah. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, so I've got my brown paint here. There we go. And let's go ahead and see how that looks. That's looking better. Yeah, I like that a lot better. Still that little divot there, but I can live with it. Okay. is not bad. Okay, so we can let him sit and dry. I think this is gonna work. Feel good. Feeling good. Now I need to clean out my brush. Let's now see, this is the mistake right here. This is where I put away the paint stuff, which pretty much guarantees that something's not going to fit, and I'm going to have to go back into it, and then I'm going to be painting it all over. That's how it works. Just so you know, I know what's going to happen, and I'm already anticipating it. No, that's not. It's hard to tell the difference between the thinner and some of the other bottles of stuff. Like, see, that looks like thinner, but it's not. It's actually silver, but the silver stuff is separated to the bottom of the bottle. Oh, is this? Ah, thinner. Okay, so this one that kind of looks like my tea. I need to get a bigger container of thinner. I had one and it dried out, and now I'm left with just a little tiny bottle, and that's not nearly enough. Okay, and there we go. Okay, we have a brush, and just going to try to preserve the tip as best as I can. Phrasing. There we go. And then my brush goes back into my little pack. And that can go away, and I can put my piece of cardboard. Oh, I have to put the bottles back in, so we'll close down everything. And did I mention how cute Tester's paint bottles are? I mean, these little square bottles are adorable. May not be the best paint, but it's definitely the cutest paint. Okay, admittedly, at the hobby store, they had these little cans of paint that were only this big, but they had the pry-off lid, so they looked like miniature gallon cans of paint, and those were pretty damn cute. Those were really cute, too. But were they cuter than Tester's paint bottles? Ooh, I don't know. So let's just, there we go. Okay, so got my little Tester's paint set. There we go. All right, so question: do you have Masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron? I do not, and I don't know why I don't have Masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron, because I should. I don't even remember when I had the opportunity to order Masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron. Hey, honey, did we ever even see Masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron available anywhere?
Yeah, that was only at a toy store, but it was like $400.
Oh, that explains why. I guess it was the price. Okay, now I understand why we don't have Masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron. By the way, just so you know, tonight's beverage is brought to you by Evil Lipton. This is Evil Lipton brand tea, left over from our He-Man live stream last week. All right. Let's kind of clear some space. You guys can't see this, but I've got like glue and baking soda and little parts and stuff all over my desk, and I probably shouldn't be working right in front of my keyboard. But, you know, I do stuff like that. So, yeah, what is it, Kyoji, like, $400 or something like that? That's, oh gosh, I mean, I refuse to pay that much for a car payment. Okay, admittedly, I refuse to have a car payment, but still, that's, no, maybe, that's like, oh, okay, so Kyoji says, 320 on Big Bad Toy Store, which isn't as bad as I thought, but, oh gosh, you know, $320 would be a significant chunk of a trip to Riviera Maya. I mean, granted, after I spend the $320, I have Masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron forever, but, ooh, Riviera Maya, I got to go once, and it was amazing. So, all right, so we got Megatron here. He's looking. Let's go ahead and show. That's actually looking pretty decent so far. You know, you can see in the light the little bit of chunkiness, but that's going to get covered by this piece. So what I need to do is I need to be patient and let everything dry. This is where I tend to screw myself over, because I never want to wait for my glue to dry. I never want to wait for my paint to dry. And I always regret it. But yeah, patience is key. So instead of trying to put them together so that I can see if everything worked, I am going to rub a little bit of that oil into his cavities. And just try and do what I can. I'm avoiding the area that I just painted. But, yeah, see if I can help replenish some of this plastic. Make it a little bit less brittle. So that is what we're doing. Go. So, oh yeah, you know what, Kyoji? If you ever hit the lottery, then you know, buy several of them. You know, like have a Masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron in every room of your home, because I mean, that's what winning the lottery is all about. So you'll see this. Okay, I'm going to be showing this off tomorrow night, but this is a sneak preview. So this is a piece that I got as part of a convention kit when I went to the Iacon 1 Transformers convention, and it is a golden disc reader. They also coined, they you know, these are metal, okay? These are actual metal golden discs, for those who remember Beast Wars. And you can take the disc reader and, let's see which side. Okay, so, yeah, the disc just goes in like this. And so Megatron can read his golden discs, which is very, very cool. I polished these up earlier today, and they're looking pretty nice. So, there we go. All right. Well, so show you something else. Just while we're waiting for Megatron to dry, this is a little heartbreaking. Was looking at you're looking at Rat Trap. This is Transmetals Rat Trap, and look at what has happened. He was stored the same way as all of my other Transformers, but the vacuum metallized coating has just decided to flake and peel off. And this was in beautiful shape. I mean, it didn't... You know, it used to be just this pristine, shiny red, and now it's just all flaked, and I don't know what caused it. It is pretty sad though, and there's no way that I can restore that. There's you know, I can repaint it. I can maybe use some iridescent reds, maybe like maybe some automotive paints, and I can get something that I can try and polish and make shiny, but I'm never going to get it to look like that again. And it's going to take a tremendous amount of work. And you know, with these parts that have these textures on them, oh yeah, that's heartbreaking. That is just heartbreaking. So yeah, these are the things that that is so hard with some of these older toys, that you know, there was nothing wrong with this toy. There was nothing wrong with this toy, and we pull him out of storage, and he's just doing bad stuff. So yeah, that's a little bit disappointing. I showed this during the Darkwing live stream last week. This is Beetroot, and when we got him Bushroot. I always call him Beetroot. I am so sorry. I keep calling him Beetroot, and he's Bushroot. I don't even know where I got Beetroot. I mean, beets aren't roots. I guess, are beets roots? Okay, well then that's because of my intimate knowledge of gardening, that I want to call him, but he's Bushroot. And when we bought this guy, we got him secondhand on eBay. His one hand was broken. I said it again. Oh, secondhand. Ha ha! Because we got him secondhand, and we had to give him a second hand. So this hand here is made out of Sculpey. And you know, it's done with a combination of Sculpey molding and just good old-fashioned filing and shaping. And then I drilled a really tiny hole up through the arm here, and I put a screw through here, and then I used a little bit of super glue as I was putting it in to attach it, and then I just painted the head of the screw. And so that's another thing that we can do, because this kind of plastic, you know, this feels more like a vinyl than it does an ABS or a styrene, and even if I had just glued that, it would have been a pretty weak joint. But now it's got metal going all the way up through it, up to right about here. So you know, that's another thing that can be done with some of these toys is, if you're missing parts and you've got a steady hand, a little bit of sculpting with some Sculpey, and now unfortunately the Sculpey was a perfect color match when I molded it, and then after I baked it, it got darker. So, that's one thing to watch out for if you are making parts for guys and you're trying to use original Sculpey colors so that you don't have to paint them. Bear in mind that the Sculpey does change color as it dries, so you might want to do some tests with colors, just to mix up some colors and figure out what your proportions are, bake them, and then compare them to the original figure to get the color that you want. So, and Sean is saying, please don't burn or melt vinyl or breathe it in. Yes, Sean is correct. Do not breathe vinyl. Polyvinyl chloride is bad stuff. There's chlorine in it, for one thing. You shouldn't breathe that. Oh, and Joy is here. Hello, Joy. We are enjoying a kind of a low-key evening of me trying to fix my toys in time for tomorrow night's live stream. And I'm showing, the repair that I did on Bushroot. See, I got his name right that time. Thank you. And the heartbreaking finish on Transmetals Rat Trap, where the paint has just flecked. It's just flaking off, which I didn't even know that could happen, but apparently it can. And that is kind of heartbreaking. And we are attempting to fix Transmetals 1 Megatron. And we've got, let me just... Ooh. See, this is me being impatient. I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't be, touching the fresh paint to feel if it's dry enough to work with yet. I should just leave it alone. But I want to put the pieces together. You see the problem. I'm my own worst enemy if I would just be patient. But it seems like it's dry to the touch. So, let's just go ahead and fit that in there. And oh my gosh, look, I'm telling you, this is going to work. This is going to work. So, I've got it fit into place. It seems like I'm looking through. I think that we can do this. All right, so let's try and use the correct hinge pin. I'm going to set... Okay, I've got... No comments from the peanut gallery, but I've got Megatron in my lap. I know, phrasing! And there's a little bit of glue residue on this hinge pin. I'm just going to scrape that off. Which the glue doesn't really want to stick to the zinc coating on here. So that's nice. Well, thank you, Joy. Joy says that Rat Trap's paint looks kind of cool because it kind of looks like war damage. And you know what? Maybe that's the motif that we're going to go for if I try to fix it, because I'm certainly not going to get that shiny look again. So you know what? If you can't hide it, show it. That's my philosophy. I feel like that could be taken wrong somehow, but I'm not sure how. Let's see. So, all right, I'm going to try and put this in here. Let's hope that everything lines up correctly. Ooh, it seems to be going in. Okay. Here, I'm gonna show so that you can actually see what's going on here. So we've got the hinge, the pin in there, and we just need to put it in a little bit further. There we go. And there. Okay. Okay, it still needs to go in further, but look at that. That is a fully functional hinge. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. Oh, that's exciting. Okay, I'm going to try to push it the rest of the way in and hopefully not break the joint. Oh, it just popped right in. That's great. We have his arm attached again. Yeah, look at that. Bam, bam, full motion. Nice. Okay, so now this was the original repair. It used to be just this hinge, but you know, plastic all over the place was just doing bad stuff. So now we can take this piece and I'm just gonna fit it right back on there. There we go. And you can sort of see through the hole a little bit. Oh yeah, can you see through the hole? You can't see through the hole. It's dark in that hole. And let's just leave that alone. So this is turning into a rowdy live stream. Okay, so I just need to put the other hinge pin in. And I'm gonna, oh, it just went right in. It just went right in. Okay, here we go. Just need to get it all the way through to the other side of the joint. And okay, I'm sorry that you can't see what I'm doing. It's a little bit touchy. It's a little bit touchy. And let me go ahead and put this on the other camera. Maybe you can see what's going on here. So I've got the hinge going most of the way through, but it needs to go through further. And it has to line up with the other side of the hinge. And so I'm just trying to push on it without putting a bunch of force on this joint, which, as we know, wants to break. So let's I think, oh, am I seeing the back? Yeah, okay, I can see the back end of the pin right here. So that's good. It just needs to go through a little bit further. Look at that. It's connected. It's connected. So now I heard a creaky noise, and I don't know if that was a bad creaky noise like breaking plastic or a good creaky noise like the hinge going in the rest of the way. So but it seems, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we have fixed Transmetals Megatron. And see, this one, there is reason why I mean, obviously, you know, I've got two of them, but this one is special because, for one thing, I've got the golden disc reader that's on the tail, and also this one I did a kit bash to. See, the way that it transforms, the tail attaches to this, and this readily comes off, and it has a little handle on the inside. And, you know, I'm not going to separate it because I'm afraid something else will break. But it has this little handle on the inside, and then Megatron can hold it like a weapon. But on the TV show, for those who remember the Beast Wars cartoon, he was always depicted as just having his tail. Let me kind of move the arm out of the way. So he was always depicted as having this tail as his arm. And so what I did on this one, which I didn't do on the other one because I figured, you know, I'll leave one of them pristine and then I'll kit bash the other, is I just trimmed away a little bit of the body in here so that this piece which attaches the tail can fold up and his arm can be up out of the way, and now he can transform like he is on the show and have the tail arm and the regular arm, and I really wanted to be able to show that, and so now I can. So that's it. He's fixed. I'm excited. That's great. Yeah, I think that's it. Nothing seems to be broken. I don't see any newfound cracks. I think that he's good. Hopefully none of the other plastic parts break between now and tomorrow night. But that is it. We now have a fully functional and kit bashed Transformers Transmetals 1 Beast Wars. Transformers Beast Wars Transmetals 1 Megatron. It's a long name. I thought that War for Cybertron Siege, Transformers War for Cybertron Siege is a mouthful, but you know what? The Transmetals era had nothing on them. So yeah, there we go. There he is in all of his glory. He's back. Yes. So, all right, well, the repairs are finished. And I'm happy. So, I hope that you had fun just kind of hanging out with me while I'm fixing my toys. I know this was all kind of low-key stuff, but you know, I figured if I was going to be sitting here and working on my toys, why not bring you guys along for the ride? So I will see everybody. Let's see tonight. It's tomorrow night. That's tomorrow night's live stream, right? So you look intense. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I was asking you. Yeah, that's tomorrow night, the Beast Wars live stream. So yes, it's gotten late. I've been up for a long time. So yeah. Everybody have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for just hanging out with me on a Thursday night. I really appreciate it. It makes it way more fun when I can talk to people and show you the stuff that I'm doing. I will see you all tomorrow night at 8 o'clock for Beast Wars Megatron Extravaganza. Woo! And there now we go on to the end screen and we go